I watched her walk away that night. No screams. No questions. No last minute. Please stay. Just a silence so heavy, it pressed against my ribs and stayed there for months. Because deep down, I knew. You cannot hold on to someone who already let go. She packed her things slowly, like she wanted me to stop her. But I didn't. She waited at the door for a second longer than she needed to, like she was giving me one final chance. But I stayed rooted to the floor. Sometimes love is not about fighting harder. Sometimes it is about knowing when you have already lost. And that night, I lost her long before she ever walked out the door. We had built dreams together. A small house with a blue door. A dog running in the backyard. A trip to Italy we kept promising ourselves when things got better. 2 names scribbled on paper, napkins or maybe babies. She smiled when we talked about it once. She held my hand across restaurant tables, made jokes about how she would decorate our future nursery. It was real. At least I thought it was. But somewhere between all the plans and promises, something shifted. I felt it. In the way her eyes wandered during conversations. In the way her touch started feeling more like a habit than a choice. Still, I stayed. Still, I hoped. Until the night she didn't. The days after blurred together. Mornings without goodbyes. Nights without a text saying, "Come home safe." It's strange how someone can be your world one day, and just air the next. I didn't block her. Didn't beg. Didn't burn the pictures. I just lived. Half alive. Half hoping maybe, somehow, she'd remember. Healing wasn't loud. There were no movie scenes of me throwing her stuff into the street. No dramatic speeches about self-worth. Just quiet mornings with cold coffee. Just silent drives with empty passenger seats. Just muted. Friday nights spent staring at ceilings and wondering if she ever missed me. Spoiler alert. She didn't reach out. Not once. And a part of me died a little more each time I realized that maybe, just maybe, I was easier to forget than I thought. But somehow, life has a cruel way of bringing back the ghosts you thought you buried. Almost exactly a year later, there was a knock on my door. It was late afternoon. Gray sky. The kind of weather that already feels heavy before the storm even starts. I opened it, expecting a neighbor, maybe a delivery. But it was her. Hair longer. Face thinner. Eyes that once shined with mischief, now dull with something heavier regret. And in her arms, a small, worn-out cardboard box. She didn't say hello. She didn't smile. She just looked at me like she wasn't sure if she had the right to even stand there. Then she held the box out toward me. Shaky hands. Trembling breath. Inside were pieces of a life we once planned together. A copy of the house brochure we dreamed of. The Italy trip itinerary, creased and stained. A tiny pair of baby shoes she bought, just in case, she told me once, laughing. Old photographs. Ticket stubs. Notes scribbled in the margins of cookbooks. Our life. Packaged. Heavy. I didn't move. I couldn't. She finally spoke. I thought I could build a new life. I thought I could forget. But I couldn't. Every corner I turned, every plan I made, it wasn't mine. It was ours. It always came back to you. Her voice broke. Her hands gripped the box tighter, like letting it fall would mean admitting everything she lost. I thought new love would fix me. That pretending would heal me. But it didn't. It just reminded me how real you were. I wanted to tell her I waited. I wanted to tell her I dreamed of this moment 1,000 times. Of her standing there, broken, realizing what she gave up. But standing in front of her now, I felt nothing but peace. Not bitterness. Not triumph. Just peace. Because the man she left behind wasn't the man standing in front of her anymore. I had learned to live without the pieces she shattered. And that was something no apology could undo. She placed the box gently at my feet. Careful. Almost reverent. I'm not asking for another chance, she whispered. I just needed you to know. You were real. We were real. I just wasn't strong enough to stay. I nodded. No anger. No sadness. Only gratitude that I survived the kind of love that was strong enough to break me, but not strong enough to stay. She turned to leave. No promises. No someday hanging between us. Just two people who once planned a lifetime, but ended up as a lesson. I closed the door. Saturday on the floor with the box. Opened it slowly. Piece by piece, memory by memory. I let it all flood me. And then I let it go. Sometimes the people we love the most are the ones who teach us how to live without them. And sometimes, when they come back, it's not for a second chance. It's to remind you how far you've come without the life you once thought you couldn't survive losing.